Hello, everyone. I'm Alicia Greenberg with the Advertising Club of New York. Thanks for being here. After a blustery day yesterday, we lucked out. So thanks for being here in person. And to those of you in our virtual clubhouse, hello and welcome. It's been such a busy start to the year, and that's why we're doing things hybrid style for the foreseeable future, right? No matter where you are, you can tune into our different programming. Today, this is the 11th in this Conversations with series, so it's been really popular. And this is where our board chair, Rick Song, he interviews thought leaders that are part of our membership, predominantly part of our board of directors. And he talks to them about pressing topics of the day, but what we really love about this program is they get personal. And today we have a priceless moment. I had to do it, Cheryl. So sorry. Can't help myself. I'm born and raised a marketer. We have Cheryl Guerin with us, the Executive Vice President of Global Brand Strategy and Innovation at Mastercard. So it's pretty awesome to have you here in this intimate setting. Before we start, I've got to encourage those of you who are not members, and I will find you if you're in this room, to join us. There are so many ways to get involved with the club. It's a club that's for members and by members. So content that you see here comes from all of you. So get involved, talk to some of my colleagues here, write to us. I'm Alicia at theadvertisingclub.org. So let's get involved. We have over 6,000 members now, believe it or not. It's really incredible. We also have a lot more coming up, so I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you what's happening. In the next few weeks, we actually have the first in this year's series of the Innovate New York, where we take a deep dive into tech conversations, and we're going to be talking about AI and machine learning as it applies to marketing with marketers from Bayer, Disney, Walmart, and Verizon. So that's a webinar, actually, so you can tune in wherever for that. And on April 20th, for the creative side, I know there's a bunch of production people here, we have our International Andy Creative Awards show and party. It's a fun time, it's a creative time. It's the best place to see the work that you're gonna see win in other award shows, but starting with the Andys. And if there's anyone in here or up there that hasn't submitted your work yet, we're down to the wire. They're headed to Argentina next week for judging. So I'll find you too to get you to submit your work. Of course, none of these programs are possible without the support of also our member companies who are sponsors and thought leaders in their own right. Broadsign is with us today, and we have the Senior Executive of Programmatic Digital Out-of-Home Media Sales, Mike Hammer. So come on up. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, Alicia. It has been an absolute pleasure for Broadsign to have sponsored this season's Ad Club Speaker Series. So many insightful and inspiring conversations with some of the most well-respected and admired leaders in the world of marketing and advertising. As for Broadsign, for those of you who have yet to learn about us, we are a leader in the digital out-of-home space. We seek to remove the friction in the digital out-of-home planning and buying process through free planning tools, several DSP integrations for our supply, and a purpose-built DSP for managed and self-service activations. On top of that, nearly 2/3 of all digital out-of-home media owners use Broadsign software to power their screens. Here's a quick video showing how Broadsign lights up the world. All right, and with that, it is my pleasure to hand it off to Rick Song and Cheryl Guerin.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. Great to see some familiar faces. I think we have some fans, Alicia, that keep coming back. It's awesome. I love it. I think that might be a first for the club. But thank you all for being here on this beautiful day. And as we wrap up the Conversation With series for this season, we'll start another one soon. And I couldn't be more excited to have Cheryl here with us. And before we kind of jump into the great history of the brand and the great iconic work of the brand, I want to ask some questions of the audience, get you engaged a little bit. All right, I had it written one way. I'm going to phrase it another way. Anyone here not heard of Mastercard's Priceless campaign? Okay, good. That's a reverse balloting.
That's
I learned that on my Nielsen days. Anyone know how many years the Priceless campaign has been running?
No one on my team can answer.
22? 20? Anyone else?
27. 45.
Cheryl's going to correct. Cheryl's going to give the correct answer.
25 years.
Mike Hammer. And we did not give the answers in advance to the sponsor, just so you know. All right, for some extra trivia questions, anyone know who the CMO was that launched this campaign? A CMO that has been around for a while. Well, Raja's the
been around
current
that
CMO. 25 years ago, remember? Oh, who said that?
You got it. You got it.
Oh, is that Jerry? I can't see who's back there. Oh, very cool. Okay,
And he
good.
went on to do the babies.
That's
The,
right. E-Trade.
E-Trade
E-Trade.
babies.
E-Trade
Another
babies.
really cool campaign.
All right, some bonus questions. Anyone know who was the voiceover for the very first Mastercard Priceless campaign? And it can't be anyone who worked on it, damn it. Kelly.
Yes, I just told Kelly he can't say.
Anyone take a guess? I mean, all right, I'll give you a hint. He's current in some top streaming shows right now. It's a tough one. I think it's a hard one.
I could say he's
Go ahead.
chameleon actor.
He's a chameleon actor, yeah.
Well-respected actor, plays a network executive.
There you go.
Plays a
Another
network
hint.
executive.
Narrowing it down on a major streaming network. Yeah, yes.
One
What's
of my
his name?
favorite- Almost Famous is one of my favorites.
He was also, I think he was a, is it a Marvel? He was a Marvel hero. He was one of the,
yeah.
one of the offbeat ones. The Marvel.
Billy
got it?
Crudup?
Yes.
Yes, Billy Crudup it is.
Very nice. Who was that? Susan? Was that Susan?
He just redid that in a. He just was talking.
He
about
just
it in
was
a
talking about it on the
podcast.
Smartlist podcast for anybody who's listening to that. And then the final question: how many years did he do it for? This is actually really good
I know
trivia.
this one.
Anyone want to take a guess? 10. Close.
Close.
Closer. 13.
13 it is. 13.
Right? Good job, everybody. Good job, everyone.
He said it's the best job he ever had.
He did. He did say it was the best job. You thought he was doing a priceless little spot, like on air, in his interview. All right. So thanks for participating. It is an amazing brand. We're going to jump into the kind of iconic work of the brand. But first, one of the best parts of doing these interviews is getting a chance to know, not only understand an iconic brand, meet a renowned marketer, but also a fellow board member of the Ad Club, which is awesome. Who also serves on the executive committee with me at the Ad Club. But I think one of the best parts is getting to know who you are, from a personal perspective. So share with everyone kind of your background and kind of what led your journey into advertising.
Sure. Well, I took an interest in advertising in college days, and in fact participated in the American Advertising Federation student competition, and was actually trained to actually present at that event in front of 500 people. And guess who the client was for the year that I worked on?
No way.
Guess.
Mastercard.
Visa.
Oh. That would have been too easy. Okay, wow.
So, I was destined to be in this payments business, I think. But I did start in the ad agency side of the business, and I absolutely adored that work that I did, and it prepared me so well to move on to the client side, especially the type of work we do at Mastercard, because the truth is we're not a direct-to-consumer company. We work with tons of partners in every possible industry, and this is what you do in advertising, and it's those partnerships and how you are client service-oriented and solution-oriented that solves that. So that was career days, and I left the ad industry when I had my first son, and I'm so glad that it's turned a corner. It was like the type of thing where, I don't know, I just never knew when I would be home, and it wasn't the best environment at that time for a working mom, so I actually left the job that I so loved, and my son's 23 now. Okay, so my stint at Mastercard roughly correlates with my son being born, and so I have two sons. They're both in college now, married for 25 years, and you know, honestly, it's just been a wonderful time. It's a great industry to be in, and I couldn't be happier for sure.
That's awesome. So it's a 22-ish year run, which is amazing. So you've seen, you know, we talked a little bit about the transition to CMOs and the Priceless campaign, which we'll dig into. But what are some of the biggest milestones from a company standpoint? Because you've seen generational change really in that time frame.
Yeah, a lot of people will say, how is it that you're at a company for so many years? And the truth is, it's like I've worked for so many different companies working for Mastercard, because we've evolved so much. When I started, we were an association of our banks, and we had 5,000 employees. We went public in 2006. We became a public company. And this, for me, this was the moment that really changed a lot for us, because we became focused on how we innovate. We stood up a labs organization. We focused on how we could solve end-user problems with product solutions and be real leaders for our clients, as opposed to an association of the clients. And then, then it came time years later where we really were early days on this idea of being a purpose-filled company. And back in 2013, we stood up the Mastercard Center for Inclusive Growth. Another shift, this whole focus on doing well by doing good. We were way ahead of trend on this, right? And it just permeates our culture and what we do. And I look today and I say, of course I got to work on the most iconic campaign in Priceless, which we'll talk about. But I look today at the types of things that I'm able to do and the types of things we're able to do as a team. And innovation for good is one of those things. So we'll talk about it. But things like True Name, right? The ability to understand insights and learn that there's a potential pain point on your card, and frankly, any form of ID for transgender and non-binary individuals, and for us to focus on solving that problem by being able to put your chosen name on a card. And that was no small feat for us, because we're not direct to consumer. We don't own the end product. So it takes convincing our entire network of banks. And then it takes, solving needs that would happen and be solved for at the merchant level, like taking away signature requirements. And so we've done so much in this great run. And I would say, we're nowhere even in the remote territory.
Just getting started.
Just getting started.
Amazing. All right, so let's talk about Priceless specifically, because it's very relevant to the journey we're talking about. Because when Billy Crudup launched that campaign, 13 years ago, it had one meaning, one messaging, had one intention, and it's evolved quite a bit to today. I mean, not only has the theme been kind of institutionalized into American culture, but the campaign itself, the intent of the campaign has evolved quite a bit. Talk about that from then to now.
Absolutely. So first of all, McCann won this in a pitch, and the idea of Priceless came out, and Mastercard. They
hired Billy, right? It was part of the pitch, right?
Billy.
So he was pre-account assignment, right?
They used his voice as part of the pitch, and then and actually he did pay homage to the genius that was Joyce King Thomas, who was the creator of this campaign. And so basically it started, and it's still based off of a single insight, though we've evolved, and we'll talk about why we've evolved, is experiences matter more than things. And what was happening then, 1997, If we roll the hands of time back, you'll remember for some of us that were, doing this, the 90s were very much a time of materialism. And consumption was a big focus. And in fact, what do you do with credit cards? You consume and make purchases. And frankly, if you looked at our category, the way to break out of the category was to actually say that, and justify credit spend, frankly, was to say that it's those purchases that lead to the most important things in life. And a very humble brand says there are some things money can't buy, for everything else there's Mastercard. And it became, an iconic moment. If I describe that first ad that we went to market with, it was about acceptance, by the way. So always functional and emotional. At the time, it's hard to believe that we weren't accepted nearly everywhere, but we opened up Major League Baseball stadiums and being able to use your card. So the ad, and I won't get the prices right, and I could jack them up from 1997 to now, but it was like hot dog. It would be like $20 now, I think. Hot dog, $8. Popcorn, $3. Souvenir foam finger, $18. And then it was the priceless line that would get you every time, real conversation with 11-year-old son, priceless. And this was absolutely iconic, and it became the first social media campaign, frankly. No, anyway, everybody mimicked it. Everybody.
I still got the chills when you said it. It's still relevant today, right? It still has
Still
such.
relevant
It's
today.
still, yeah.
So this is the point. The insights it was born out of have only grown. The focus on, your life balance, work-life balance, giving to community, experiencing the world and other cultures, all of that remains consistent, right? But what has changed is technology and how people experience things and actions that a brand could take. So we've moved from observing priceless moments or celebrating those moments that we just talked about, father-son at a baseball stadium, and we moved to enabling priceless, creating tangible experiences. And we created a global platform to do that. Our campaign runs in over, I think it's 112 markets in 56 languages. And we stood up a platform that enabled experiences across passions, sports, music, entertainment, and more, culinary. And we did that all around the world. We enabled priceless. Then we moved into a world of inspiring priceless. In a world focused, and for all of us as marketers, words don't mean anything anymore, but actions do. We focused on starting something priceless, and the likes of a true name or the likes of a touch card, or creating movements and inspiring real priceless actions that we've taken as a company and as a brand. That's what it became about.
It's amazing, and I think thematically it's still so relevant throughout its evolution. Purpose-driven marketing seems central, and you kind of touched on it in the opening, and helping people find their passions, right? Is thematically part of that goal. Talk about kind of some of the purpose-driven initiatives, because there's so many, right? To your point of where the brand's evolved to, but some of the ones that we want to highlight for today.
Yeah, I mean, this has been the most amazing run, because if you could go to work and feel truly inspired by the kinds of things that you're doing, that our jobs can actually create true meaning in people's lives, and we really focus on that. So one quick point is we created a tagline change, which we frankly don't use anymore, but it actually was more than a tagline, start something priceless. It really became a rallying cry for our team to create priceless actions. And so I talked about True Name. I can tell you Touch Card is another one of these innovations, fully purpose-driven, understanding accessibility, understanding those that are blind and partially sighted. We actually learned by going through the journey and working with associations that work with those that are blind, that when you go to the point of sale to check out, and we take for granted this, you have your wallet and you don't know which card is the one, and you have to say, Rick, you know, would you be able to help me? Or you have to ask a stranger, would you be able to help me? Or the clerk, would you be able to help me find my card? And so, you know, giving somebody their independence and their financial freedom, we created a notch system for this. So the circular notch, the tactile feel of that, for a debit card, squared off for a credit card, and then a triangular shape for a prepaid card, that you would get that. And we're further evolving that experience even today. But, you know, True Name is out globally in over 30 markets, and we've now launched Touch Card with several issuers around the world.
And Touch Card is thematically, again, so intertwined with enabling experiences, right? It's really,
Yeah.
you know, and accessibility and experiences is really, really key.
And I'm going to show you a TV spot, actually.
Yeah, we have a video. I think, Michael, we've got a video teed up for Touch Card.
And I think why I want to show you this is, you know, for years we all focused on communications. You focus on the action now. Now, then you could communicate it. And when you communicate it, you communicate with empathy, and you communicate in a way that is also just as accessible as the product we created.
Michael?
This commercial was designed with audio description for people who are blind or partially sighted, so more people can experience it. A red-haired woman holds a white cane and feels her way down apartment steps. She strolls past a man scrubbing his vintage sports car.
Love the music, Rick.
Morning, Marjorie.
Good morning.
Marjorie tilts her head. What's that sound? A shopping cart?
Hey, Marjorie.
It's her friend on a skateboard.
Hey, Marcus.
Nearby, kids play soccer. Marjorie steps into a tiny cafe.
Hey, Marjorie. Hi, Mayuki. Vanilla latte, please.
Okay, 450.
Someone shuffles impatiently behind her. Marjorie isn't flustered. Her cards used to feel the same, but touch cards from Mastercard have distinct notches for debit, credit, and prepaid. She feels a half hexagon, her credit card. She taps a terminal and takes her latte. She steps outside and strides away from us. Touch cards appear, each with a distinct notch. Introducing Touch Card by Mastercard, because a world designed for all of us is priceless. The word priceless comes up next to the Mastercard logo.
Amazing. I mean, you know, especially at a time when inclusivity is such an important, you know, point in our culture to have, you know, essentially a company that's associated with a credit card enable that type of access is truly inspiring. On the same theme of purpose-driven marketing, there's a Strivers campaign that I know you're passionate about. You want to share with the members about it?
Sure. This is a focus on small business, which frankly started prior to COVID. We were focused on bringing female entrepreneurs into the digital economy, making sure that, you know, their businesses are running on all cylinders in digital. Now, when COVID hit, frankly, the segment that was opening up pre-COVID, the fastest growing segment and opening up businesses, you know, the most was Black women. Now, their industries were hit so hard during COVID. What we wanted to do is make sure we really focused that campaign and really enabled and went on road shows to actually educate women. We went to cities all around the country, Atlanta, Birmingham, New Orleans, and others, New York, LA. And we worked with the cities and worked on educating business owners there how to move their businesses into the digital space so they could not only most certainly thrive, but also survive. So one, we had to do something. We also had a major grant program, getting capital and support to help their businesses grow. That was critical. Now with those actions that we were taking, we created a mentorship program also with Create and Cultivate, which was also awesome. But then with those actions that we took, then we did the communication. We brought in Jennifer Hudson, and she became the voice of our campaign. And we wanted to share with everyone, we featured real women business owners, how they're as role models representing their businesses. And then we said, we encouraged everybody to shop, share socially, and participate by getting out there and supporting Black women-owned businesses. And so big success, a huge focus for us. We're focused on getting 25 million women entrepreneurs into the digital economy, and this is a big program that's a part of that.
Very, very cool. And then on that note, from a, actually I think, from a Web3 perspective, you've got an emerging artist program right? That's kind of falls in line with the thematically from a purpose-driven marketing perspective.
Absolutely. I'm super excited about this. You heard part of my job is about innovation. And we want to be out there testing, learning. We want to get ahead and understand these technologies. So at the same time, when we talk about fusing that passion and purpose, we're focusing on how emerging artists and underrepresented artists can actually use Web3 technologies and blockchain to actually make a living in the music business. And so we announced the Mastercard the Mastercard Artist Accelerator in Web3. And in addition to actually running an entire set of artists that are going to go through this and learn, we're going to have a Mastercard NFT Music Pass that will enable lots of other artists, hundreds of thousands of other artists, to actually come in and learn during their experience and participate in that education module. And I think we have a video on that.
Yes, Michael, Artist Accelerator video, please.
Oh, not that one.
Oh, no.
Bringing passion and purpose together through the power of music is a song Mastercard has been singing for years. Through extraordinary experiences, showcase partnerships, artist collaborations, even our own sonic branding, music lives at the very heart of how Mastercard connects people to the priceless possibilities in life. Today, we turn up the volume by unleashing the power and potential of Web3 to help underrepresented emerging artists unleash their own power and potential. Welcome to the Mastercard Artist Accelerator, a next-level platform of tools, tech, and community where new voices can create, learn from mentors, build a fan base, and start making the dream a lot more real. The Mastercard Artist Accelerator, unleashed by Web3 and unlocked for creators and fans alike with the Mastercard Music Pass NFT. This is where passion and purpose come together, and that is priceless.
So cool. It's super inspiring because it's not only has the purpose of supporting underrepresented emerging artists, but also leveraging technology, leveraging Web3 technology and platforms to kind of activate them. So that's really, really cool. So speaking of technology, I think we should highlight that. We touched on it a little bit, but we should touch on the fact that the company, if you looked up in their LinkedIn profile, Mastercard is listed as a technology company, right? Where some might say it's a credit card company, it's a financial services company, but they identify as a technology company. You've seen some great examples of that. Talk about kind of that evolution as well, and there's some recent initiatives that really kind of accentuate that.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, the truth is, for years, we've been put into this financial services category, or people talk about us as a financial services company. The truth is, we don't offer financial services. We're a technology company. We're a network. And it's our technology that powers those payments. It is our banks that issue cards and products, and we work with them to bring their products to market, but it is our technology that powers them. We've done this in a number of ways, like as we got into digital payments more recently, right? We created the digital payments that you have in your mobile wallets. That's the backbone of that is Mastercard. We enable that capability. We tokenize the cards and enable it. It's our technology that consistently does this. And the company, I didn't mention this before, the services on our evolution, right? We're a lot more global. By the way, we're 30,000 employees. I think we started, I've said we were 5,000.
Right.
We're 30,000 employees. We're way more global now than when we started, and we're diversifying our business. And in fact, some of you would be surprised to know that 35% of our revenue comes from our services business. Cybersecurity, data capabilities, loyalty capabilities, personalization services, identity services, and more. And so as part of this, we are focused, we have a marketing job to do, right? Now we're serving many more constituents than financial institutions. So on top of card payments, which is a beautiful business that will continue to grow and focus on, we've stood up all of these service capabilities, and we're servicing fintechs and digital partners and governments and telcos and CPGs and more. And so it's a completely different business, and we're focused on growing that significantly.
Yeah, and you actually have an initiative with the MLB.
Yeah. So, this is what the job as marketers is to extend that brand, this amazing brand that we have in consumer, the trust that we have in recognition around the world, take that and extend it into our services business. It's not dissimilar. Amazon Web Services, very similar sort of scenario. And so what we're doing in our marketing, actually, we could put a print ad up here with something we're doing with, is a testimonials campaign to demonstrate all the partners that we're working with.
Yeah, we've got Michael, it's the MLB balloting print ad.
This is, by the way, we dropped our name from our logo. That's super cool.
Right.
That's being shown right now. But let's go to the MLB balloting. And what you're going to see is for the All-Star game, right, one of the challenges is bots voting. And if we want the fans to really get their votes in, they use Mastercard Nude Detect to actually secure that ballot. So not payments. You could see here, did you know how Major League Baseball stops bots from stuffing the ballot box for All-Star game? By using Mastercard Nude Detect. Our verification technology determines whether a voter is genuine. So we have biometric capabilities to identify whether the person is real or they're a bot. And so we promote that, and we certainly promote that in stadium as well. If we go to the next one, this is something we did in the UK, right? So in rural communities in the United Kingdom, it would maybe take people 3 hours to get to a bank. And we stood up through our network services and technology capabilities, we stood up banking services in post offices, every post office in the UK. So everybody's within 3 miles of being able to access their money. And that's another example. And then this last one is an open banking capability. So we work with fintech marketplaces like Lendio. We're not doing payments here. We're the data connection. So when you want to get a loan and you want to transfer that data, we secure that data connection. And that enables lenders to look beyond a credit score and at other data points related to that individual, and it makes sure that more people can get their dreams come true, like the small business owner here.
Fascinating, and the MLB balloting example, which is really you think about some of the big technology companies like IBM, Watson, who are heavily involved with PGA as an example in tabulation and scoring, and I don't think most people would associate Mastercard with that same type of technology, and now they can, and now they should, right?
And now they should. And actually, we just launched a set of new B2B ads at the Arnold Palmer Invitational just last week.
Very cool. So right before we keep going, get your questions ready, both here live at the Ad Club and those dialed in. We're going to take some questions both from our streaming in audiences as well in the audience. We've got a mic coming around shortly. So speaking of technologies, right, so we covered kind of like the transition, the evolution of the brand, transition to B2B services. From a technology standpoint, as a marketer for MasterCard, what are you most excited about that's coming down the pike, both for this year and beyond?
Well, I would show you a couple of things, but definitely the Web3 stuff is just, to me, there's such a beautiful territory there to do more innovation like you just saw. So I think, the trust of MasterCard's brand, and combined with some of the services, like our identity services, combined with things like fraud protection and the trust that we have in these spaces, I think this, to me, is super exciting. And a call out for media partners in the audience, I'm super excited as we look to be more purposeful in even every piece of media that we buy, whether that relates to sustainability, big focus of ours. Make sure that media is more sustainable, and we're working with partners to do that, and we want to be ahead of that, and more accessible, right? And so those are real opportunities, to advance technology we have as an industry to do better.
Yeah, it's amazing how Mastercard's taken a leadership position from that perspective. All right, let's take some questions live from the audience. We've got a mic going around. Pete, just introduce yourself and then fire away.
Sure. Thank you, Rick. My name is Pete Beanie. I am week 2 at a new, very, very new game tech startup. And this is going to be a slightly self-serving question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. And that is, when you're looking at new channels, so in the innovation part of the role, when you're trying to assess new and emerging channels, is there a shorthand that you use in terms of like what attracts, where you feel like there's a real territory to work? You know, is there a kind of a shorthand method?
I mean, we're looking at behavior shifts, and we're looking at new technologies that enable solutions, right? So we're not going to get into things just to get into things. But speaking of gaming, a couple of years ago, we launched our partnership with Riot Games, and so we're a world sponsor of League of Legends. And it's, why did we get into that? Again, follow the consumer and their journey. Right? So our audiences and younger generations, we want to be able to connect with them. And this is priceless to them. It's another passion that became so important to us. We actually joined that sponsorship. And so, you know, we're following the consumer and what they care about. We're following technologies that we think are really important. We launched our own proprietary digital media capability using AI. We call it a digital engine. And we use this to basically track people's passions using the AI and match that to experiences we have in our priceless experiences program. And so AI is another technology, but we're looking to solve solutions with them, not just to be cool for cool's sake. Web3, this is an area where we say we're testing and learning, but we're doing it in our brand way, in a very purposeful way, as you can see.
Well, it's clear you're set up to enable currency in the metaverse, right? It seems like you're halfway there already.
You know, again, you talk about exciting things, just, you know, NFT marketplace acceptance. You know, if we looked back last year, you had to use crypto, and clearly not everybody's comfortable doing that. And so when we enabled Mastercard acceptance at NFT marketplaces, access to those creators have access to 3 billion potential cards that we have out there. So it's more inclusive. And frankly, the trust and the ease that comes with just being able to use your Mastercard changes dramatically. And so the opportunity for us to secure and support and create more inclusion in these spaces, it's all there.
Yeah, and especially from accessibility standpoint to the point about touch cards and sensory marketing, that transition will be easier because the technologies already exist in the digital world. So that'll be very cool to see. All right, any other questions? Oh, I see some hands in the back. Who's got the mic? Okay.
Hi, guys. First, Rick, thank you for hosting. I think this whole series has been great content and compelling thought leadership, so kudos to the Ad Club. Thank you for that. Cheryl, hi.
Hi, Jerry.
Hello. Pivoting the conversation, would love to hear what you've learned through the pandemic as we're now managing teams in a virtual world. What are some of the learnings and insights that you now apply day to day in managing teams in this new day?
I tell you, I feel that we're more connected than we've ever been as a team. And it doesn't have to pertain to physical proximity anymore. And I will tell you, as many of you experienced this, I know from day one when COVID hit, we would do a daily huddle with my directs, and we all would connect. And just by virtue of those connections, you know, we knew more about what was going on in each other's worlds than ever. And everybody could creatively build on top of those ideas. So, you know, what's changed now? We're sort of in this hybrid space. And I think the same bringing together teams and connecting on a more often basis, but they're quick catch-ups, doing more virtual brainstorming, but then making moments for the in-person. It still can't replace, the in-person
No doubt,
is
no doubt.
really important. So I think it's the combination of things, but I think it's brought the teams together closer than prior, frankly.
Another question down in front. Michael, I think we answered the question from the streaming audience. Let's get another one up there if we can.
Hi, Cheryl. My name's Allie Kasberg, so appreciate your time today. I'm curious, you talked about in your marketing strategy you were leaning further into enabling experiences, but Raja and the Mastercard organization is historically a very quantitative marketing mindset, right? So Raja in particular being a very quant-focused marketer. How do you continue to lean in experience for passion points while also managing expectations, especially with like your financial counterparts?
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting is everything we do is functional and emotional. There's nothing that we do at Mastercard that doesn't have that heart there, inclusive of Raja. Quantitative, but also focused on those connections. And you have to use both, left brain, right brain. We call system 1, system 2. Marketing does better when it's emotionally driven. Can't lose functional, but you have to have the emotional. It's the way you differentiate. And so, this is a big focus of ours. We focus on creating competitive advantage. So when we stand up platforms, I talked about our Priceless Experiences platform globally. We have an API related to that, and our own partners leverage that. We are, an engine for American Airlines experiences. That's a part of our value proposition to win, share, keep partners, and actually help them grow their business. And we do that with Strivers. When I talked about that, we worked with all of our banks to stand up versions of that and create a digital doors program to help them get their small businesses online. So everything we do comes with what is the need for the consumer, and then we quantitatively measure revenue related to the capabilities we have, usage. So I know I didn't talk about it on Purpose Driven, but we started a partnership with Stand Up to Cancer 11 years ago. I personally started that partnership, and I could not be more proud. We raised over $60 million, and guess what? That program returns on investment time and time again. So you can do both. You could do well and do good.
And by the way, if you haven't been tracking MasterCard as a publicly traded company, you can also see the success it's had in terms of revenue growth to see if the company has performed, and you'll see that it's done quite well over the years. To your point on Strivers, we've got a question that came in through the live stream. Yep. In enabling Black-owned business, Black women-owned businesses, are you providing mentorship and training and other things to support, in your efforts?
So definitely, grants. So we have a full-up grant program that we have running through our Center for Inclusive Growth, and a grant program that we also did with the Fearless Fund. Second, it is an education program. It's at Digital Doors. And then we stand this up with cities, key cities around the country, and we provide true education of how do you accept payments. There are discounts and actual relationships of how you get other services, not just payments, related to this. And then we have small business services that actually protect small businesses, cyber services, et cetera. So this is all there 100%. It's about education. It's about giving the tools. It's about getting the resources into the hands of people that need it.
Super additional insight on that program. Any other questions from the audience? One here in the front. We're going to use the mic just so the people in live stream can hear. Just tell us who you are.
Kathy Jamison with Sinclair. I have a question. What are you reading, and what's on your, what do you follow to continually innovate and stay ahead of the curve?
Well, I tell you, part of this is being at external, ensuring that you're out and about at different things. So from CES, you go to these events and you see what other brands are doing. By the way, Ad Club, these are ways, I'm plugging the Ad Club. these are ways that you actually can stay connected, network. I like hearing about what other brands are doing, and that inspires me. And so there's a number of things in that vein, and I would encourage you to take moments out of your day to do things like this, to continually learn and hear from others.
Yeah, I'll say I can vouch for Cheryl being a real student of the industry. She is out and about quite a bit. You can tell by her travel schedule, but also the ad club brand innovators, right? So that you're always engaging with the community. So I think that's super important to stay on top of what's happening. On the personal passions front, it's actually fairly aligned with kind of the Mastercard brand, right? In terms of the causes you're involved with. You want to share with the audience?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think as marketers, we have superpowers that could help others, and I take that to heart in my job that I have. I take that to heart in my personal life, and so what do I spend my time doing? I volunteer as much as I can, and then I'm on the board of Ronald McDonald House New York, another amazing organization, and I'm also on the board of now the National Crohn's and Colitis Organization. I'm lucky. I'm a patient, but I've been lucky and well, but others aren't, and it's really these, the ability to create, and these are hard diseases to talk about as a marketer. I could lend that organization a hand in doing that, so I'm doing that. We do a walk as a family every year. My mother-in-law passed away, unfortunately, from ovarian cancer about 11 years ago. But we do a walk every year. We bring the family together to do that. So I'm constantly doing these things. And then, of course, I try to have some fun in my personal time, too.
Well, yeah, now you're almost an empty nester, right? So travel's been a big part of what you've been doing, right?
Woo, let's hear it for the empty nesters. Yeah, I mean, I tell you, my 23 and 18, my kids, and they shouldn't call it empty nester. It sounds so negative. It is the best. For all the years I worried about, oh my God, our kids are getting older. We pick up and travel. We were just in Turks and Caicos. We're going to Aruba with friends in April.
Emancipated servant, how's that? Something like that?
Yeah, and we're out and about. As I showed Rick my pictures from Saturday night, I can't do multiple nights in a row like I did in 20s, but it is a revert back to your 20s where you actually have freedom and can really have fun with friends and family.
Some of us just start over. So
congratulations, Rick.
Thank you.
Sorry to make you remind you of what that means.
Thank you for the one person clapping. No, I adore my newborn. So I really do. That's not a joke. My wife hopefully is not tuned in.
Every stage is priceless.
Every stage is priceless. What a marketer. Plugs in the tagline right at the end. So as we wrap up today's session, what's your favorite quote or mantra?
Yeah. So listen, my son is a history buff. My 18-year-old, he goes to American University, and he did his college essay around Winston Churchill, who's inspired him. He's also dyslexic, which, it's been a journey on that front. And this is a quote that's inspired him and inspires me, and I feel like it represents my career. Success, it's a famous one. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And, the thing that I could leave you with is the things like TrueName, things like TouchCard, things like the Web3 accelerator that we're doing. These things don't happen by not pushing ideas forward and really fighting for them. And so, you have to have the courage to push forward and fight for them. Success is a journey. Just because you had one success, you have to keep that. You raise the bar for yourself. And so fighting for great ideas that are really meaningful, that could drive the business and do good, that's my focus.
And I would say that quote and that sentiment couldn't be more relevant coming out of the last 2.5 years, and also as a reflection of the current kind of cultural climate. So well said. I want to say, first of all, thank you everyone for dialing in. I think we've got record numbers on the live stream. Thank you all for being here. Also, I think our largest audience. We'll be back with conversations in early summer, if you're not a member, go to advertisingclub.org. Please join us formally. There's more great stuff coming up. Alicia talked about it a little bit more. It's all on the website. And I don't know about you, but today, for me, wrapping up our conversation with series with Cheryl Guerin was priceless. Please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you.